One of our students, all of you know him, and I would love to hear him come here and share a few of his experiences of what music has taught him, how he leveraged some of the things at Notesnbeats. Tarun Donipati.
Hi everyone, how are you all doing? Good! Auntie gave me a really big introduction and I don't deserve that much of but thank you, Auntie. Thank you so much.
Of course.
So, a few days back, Veena Auntie asked me to talk about how music had impacted my life. Now, that's a whole lot to talk about, and that's a whole lot for you to listen to. And I know while most of you are music lovers here, there might be some of you who were forced into music. See, now I completely understand that, because when I was 5 years old, I too was forced into music. So this story is really interesting. Back when I was 5 years old, my parents saw all these other kids pursuing Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and some were even pursuing Carnatic music. And for some unknown reason, they thought it was a good idea to put me in those lessons. So see, I don't know if they noticed, but everyone pursuing that kind of stuff were girls. So naturally, I thought it was, a girlish thing to do. That it was like Barbie dolls. So when I was going into Carnatic music, with that thought in mind, I never really enjoyed it. And after 2 or 3 months of taking lessons, uninterestedly, I finally convinced my parents to release me from music lessons. Big victory. So one of the aunties I know was having a baby shower, and every one of my friends was doing something, singing, dancing, even giving a speech. And I was kind of the only one not really doing anything, and this made my mother really mad. Because she was like, every one of the kids was doing something, why aren't you doing anything? So she would keep asking me this question over and over again, and what seemed like the 1000th time, I had enough. I was like, my mom doesn't think I have any talent. So at that moment, there was a song playing in our car from the movie Attarinti Daredi. Ninnu chudagani chitti gunde gattigani kottukunnade ademite. So this song was, I know it and I like to hear it and everything, but in the spur of the moment, I was like, Amma, this is the song I'm gonna sing. And I did, and I ended up loving it. And I think the reason I loved it is because of the nature of the performance, because when I got up on stage, I was like really nervous, probably like all of you. When you go up on stage, you're really nervous, and then after I finished the performance, I got so much applause, and I was like, why am I getting all this applause? I mean, I just did what I thought was fun, and then I felt like, all that kind of thing was somehow being appreciated. I didn't know it was at the time, but it just felt fun. And I think that's the reason I ended up getting back into music, is because of the encouragement of others. So after that moment, I don't think I ever looked back on my passion for music as something to regret or anything like that, because music had given me so much. For one, it had been kind of my stress buster. So this senior year, I should know, I did not have any performances lined up at all because I was doing my college apps. And although I was getting my stuff done, I was concentrating, I never really had that kind of output for myself to just move my stress away. Whereas my junior year, I was taking about 7 APs, and on the side I was also doing performances, and yes, at some points I felt like it was a bit too much, but when I ended up going to venues and performing, it just all went away, and I was just enjoying myself. And I think I was always waiting for those weekends to come. So it was just, singing and music just gives you so much of a relief from whatever you're doing in your work or weekdays. Another thing that it gives you is confidence. And let me paint you a picture. So imagine if you're in the Patriot Center and the house is full and you're performing to about 10,000 people. Now imagine you're opening for maybe the best contemporary Indian musician, singer Arjit Singh. And the worst part, you have to sing by yourself for 5 whole minutes. So now, how much confidence do you think that kid would get just after that performance, performing for 10,000 people? Now imagine that you take this kind of confidence and 10 years later you apply it to, like, let's say a business meeting or an entrepreneurial pitch. And it differentiates you from all your other peers because they don't have that kind of experience. And that kind of experience was given to you by music. So music isn't just like, a stress reliever. It's kind of also something that develops you professionally. Another thing that music gives you is that it's kind of your creative output. It's been my creative output for a long time. I've always wanted to compose and write music. And my first introduction to that were kind of, same in Carnatic music, you do raga lapanlu or swarakalpana. Things like that start exercising your mind towards creativity. And then after, when you're writing and composing your own songs, you have to take those ragams and you create your own tunes out of it. And to date, I've composed about maybe 6 songs. But the thing is, I love doing it. It wasn't work for me. And that's because when you're doing creative work itself, you just feel like it's your work and you're having fun with it and it's your thing and you gotta show the world. That's the same thing you do with whether it's your code, you're creating a program, or whether you're creating your own company. You're doing the same thing. It's your work, it's your creative work, and you take it in and you're like, I need to make this the best it is. So music was my introduction to creative work, and I believe that creative work can help me as a professional later on. But I think the best thing, when I know a lot of you here, a lot of people in general think music is just a thing to have on college apps. It's a great extracurricular activity, which is much better than all the people who think music is a waste of time. But the thing is, if you take music as a passion and you continue it and you start developing that passion, it can be something so much more personal. And now, speaking of developing that passion, I need to talk about Notesnbeats. So, I remember when I was preparing for like big competitions and big performances, Veena Auntie would actually take me to like jamming sessions and kind of a smaller tier performance just to get me ready for the big performance. So I'm kind of like ready to go out there. And I remember another thing with Notesnbeats is that the fundraising concerts were had a big impact on me because it showed me how social awareness kind of went with music. Because until then, I wanted to, I had these big ambitions of helping the world. And at the same time, I had these ambitions of, pursuing music and creating my own thing. I didn't really see the intersection of it though. So after pursuing fundraisers with Veena Auntie, Celebrate Life, and Destiny, I kind of saw like how music and social awareness kind of go together, and it makes that message so much more effective. And taking that, I was kind of able to do my own vaping and drug awareness concert, where we were kind of raising awareness for underage vaping, which is kind of like smoking. So that was it was really helpful to me as learning how to apply my music, how to apply my knowledge to the real world. But I think the greatest thing, or person, I should say, that music had given, or that Notesnbeats had given to me is my teacher, Srimati Umarani Pandirigaru, my own mother, because she's the one who developed that skill in me. So I remember there were so many days, I started out as a kid with tons of feel and no sense of shruti and talam, and Amamagaru was able to develop that skill in me to help me kind of attempt songs such as like Shiva Shankari, Rasigaraja, and do some justice to it. And the best part about my relationship with Amamagaru isn't that it's not just a student to teacher relationship. It's more like a grandmother to a grandson kind of relationship. And I don't think I've ever gotten that from any other teacher in my life. So I think it's not just about applying the knowledge at Notes and Beats, but it's also about having the great teachers who give you that knowledge. Because ultimately, whatever you learn in school, you learn theoretical knowledge, don't you? And you once you come into the real world, you gotta apply it. You have to you find ways to like apply that knowledge. Notes and Beats has both the theoretical and the application parts of it. I think that's what makes it a deadly combination. So, in the ending parts of our talk, I just want to say that, every kid in here has, a tiny interest. Some were forced in, but I probably forced in. And some, maybe you think, should I do it? Should I not? Is it interesting? Should I keep pursuing it? But I think if you look beyond music as just something to make you famous, or just something to have on your college apps, become something more personal and something that introduces you to life's greatest teacher, life itself. Thank you so much.